Hi, marketers, creatives, and curious minds. Welcome to the Lightbulb Moments, the podcast where we flip the switch on popular myths and dig into the truth behind big ideas. Have you ever wondered, is creativity something you're born with? Or can it be learned? Some say it's a magical talent, a gift you either have or you don't. But is that really true? Today, we're diving into this very question. I'm Jaidyn, a media student from UON, and joining me is my classmate Vivian Soe Wathan from Burma.
Hi Jaidyn, thank you for having me. So if you ask this question back in the 18th or 19th century, people would have answered, creativity is something you're born with. People from that time used to think of creativity as a rare, almost magical gift. But nowadays, modern researchers show that creativity is something that can be developed through learning, practice, and experience. It builds on what already exists and it's driven by a person who has the skills and knowledge to make something new. And this comes from their background, experience, or education.
That makes sense. But what exactly is creativity? Like, when would you say, oh wow, this is creative?
When people talk about creativity, they often say, you need to think outside the box to be creative. But honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that idea. So for me, creativity is not just about breaking boundaries. It's about finding effective solutions within the limits you have. So for example, this trimester, we work on a project for a client, which is one of the women empowerment organizations, and one of our tasks was to create content for an event. Sounds simple, right? Well, here's a challenge. 6 other groups were working on the same project and one of them had the same exact text. So for our approach to stand out, we came up with the idea. We asked each speaker, if you could write a letter to your younger self, what would you say? We turned their messages into visuals with brand elements, making the introductions more personal and engaging rather than just a typical introduction like, this is Mrs. What, blah, blah. So as a result, the client loved it. And even said we were thinking outside the box. But here's the thing, we were not thinking outside the box. We were just looking at the box differently. We didn't break out of it. We just pushed its edges little by little, reshaping it into something new.
That's an interesting perspective. So, do you have any ideas on how we can learn to be creative?
I would say that most people are at their most creative when they feel engaged, challenged, and passionate about what they are doing. So when you actually care about something, your brain naturally starts looking for new ideas and better solutions. So at the end of the day, creativity is not just a talent. It's a mix of what you know, how you think, and why you care.
Wow, this is such an interesting conversation. I think today's discussion makes it pretty clear. Creativity isn't just about talent. It's about learning, experimenting, and pushing boundaries.
Exactly. So the next time when someone says, I'm just not creative, remind them creativity is not just a magic, it's a skill that anyone can develop, even though creativity is subjective. If you can convince a group of people that your approach is workable, unique, or effective, they will recognize it as creative. So keep experimenting until they see its value. And that's how I develop my own creativity through experience.
Love that. Now, oh my gosh, that was a light bulb moment. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Lightbulb Moments. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, challenge the myth, trust your mind, and keep the light bulbs turning on. And hey, I'd love to hear your take. Do you think creativity is something you can learn? Leave a comment, share your thoughts, or tell us about your own lightbulb moment. Catch you in the next one.